Our next storyteller is Jennifer Stone, and she's also a local storyteller, and she's going to be telling an adapted version of Princess Noor, Al-Nihar, and the Three Princes.
Let me tell you about Princess Noor. Princess Noor was a princess from India, and she was educated, beautiful, and bright. Not only bright in the mind, but bright in the soul. See, wherever she was, she had a glow about her, and people were warmed in her presence. She was raised by the Sultan as an orphan because her father had been killed in the war. And her father and the Sultan were best friends. So she grew up with the Sultan's three sons, Prince Hussein, Prince Ali, and Prince Ahmed. Hussein, he wanted to be rich. Ahmed, he liked to play. And Ali, well, Ali was Princess Noor's best friend. As the years went by, the Sultan realized that all three of his sons had fallen madly in love with Princess Noor. And why wouldn't they? She was a marvel. But this caused a problem, because if he married her off to someone in another country, they would all be distraught. But if he chose which son would have her hand, then there might be rivalry in the kingdom. So he caught himself worrying about this. He came up with a plan, and he called them to his throne room, and he said, "My sons, I know that you are all in love with Princess Noor, and I know what to do about it. You must leave immediately and not come back for an entire year. And when you do, bring back the greatest marvel that you would offer a marriage with Princess Noor." All three sons, they left immediately. No one asked Princess Noor who she wanted to marry. Of course, she wanted to marry her best friend, Prince Ali. There was a time when Ali and her had been out in the apple orchards, and he'd been showing off, and he fell from a tree, and he would have died, but she was gifted in the healing arts. She saved his life that day. Well, all three sons, they went to an inn right outside town, and they shared food, and they boasted, and they jostled like brothers do. And they agreed to meet back 1 year's time at the same inn before they returned to their father. And in the morning, they departed. Hussein went west, Ahmed went east, and Ali, he went north. Hussein, he went over fields of sand until he finally came to a land where the market was so marvelous. You could see the glittering of jewels 2 blocks away. You could smell the scent of the exotic foods. And he could see the stacks of prayer rugs that were being sold. The prayer rug man, the merchant, he was saying, 30,000 gold pieces, 30,000 gold pieces for this prayer rug. Who will buy this prayer rug? Hussein gave him a look and said, 30,000 gold pieces? Are you insulting me? Are you insulting me? I am not insulted by your insult because you do not know that this is actually a flying magic carpet. If you just get on it, it will take you wherever you ask it to go. Hussein said, okay, all right then. We will get on this carpet. I will say in, it will take me to my inn, and I will pay you. And if it doesn't, I will have your head. So they got on the carpet, and Hussein said, in. And the carpet, it rose. It rippled, and it moaned. And it flew above the heads of everyone in the market and went right to his inn. And he bought that carpet for 30,000 gold pieces. And he was so proud of himself because he knew that he would win Princess Noor's hands. Well, Ahmed, he went east. He went all the way to the sea. He went to a land where the mosque was so high it reached the sky. It was covered with light blue mosaic tiles. When he went to the market, he saw a man who was selling an ivory spine tube. And he was saying, 30,000 gold pieces. Who will buy my ivory spine tube for 30,000 gold pieces? And Ahmed said, you're mad. You're mad. I will just walk by you, my friend. Oh no, you do not know that this ivory spine tube has magical properties. All you have to do is ask it what you want to see and it will show you. So he handed the spine tube to Ahmed, and Ahmed, before he took a look, he said, Princess Noor. And he looked and he saw her. She was in her chambers putting on jewelry, getting ready for a birthday party. He looked probably a little longer than she would have been comfortable. But he bought that ivory spine tube for 30,000 gold pieces, and he was proud. He was sure he was going to be able to win her hand. Now Ali climbed the mountains of the north. He was very tired. He was bone tired when he finally reached this land where the mosque had stained glass windows that littered color over the prayer rugs. And in the ceiling there was a mosaic of pink. They called it the Pink Mosque. He went to the market there, and there was a man who was holding an apple. He was selling an apple for 30,000 gold pieces. Who will buy my apple for 30,000 gold pieces? Ali thought, he must be mad. There are lots of people walking around him, giving lots of space, but it made him think of that day when Princess Noor had saved his life under the apple tree. So he had to go find out what was going on. And he said, my friend, what is so special about this apple that you want so much money for it? And the merchant said, this apple has been imbued with the healing properties and spells of many healers over the last 45 generations. All you have to do is smell its aroma and you'll be healed of any affliction, even from the brink of death. Would I be able to smell its fragrance? Oh, of course. And he held the apple up, and Ali smelled the fragrance, and all of his woes and aches from his bones just melted away from his travails on the mountains. And he said, that is indeed a special apple, but would it cure someone from the brink of death, really? Well, I will show you. So they went across the street into the pauper's alley, and they found a man who was dying. He was on a stretcher. And the merchant held out the apple to his nose, and as the fragrance was breathed in, the man's eyes fluttered open. And then he sat up, and then he sang, and then he stood off that stretcher and he began to dance. And he went bounding off to find his family. That truly is a wonderful treasure. I will pay you 40,000 gold pieces. And that he did. And he went back to the inn to meet his brothers, for the year was up. The brothers were happy to see each other, and they wrestled and tussled and boasted like brothers do. They went flying around the inn on the magic carpet. Ahmed said, look, I have an ivory spine tube. You can see anything you want. And Hussein said, give me that. Snatched it. And he said, Princess Noor. And he took a look. Oh, no. And Ali said, Ahmed said, what is the deal? Let me look. And he took a look and he said, oh, Princess Noor, she's on her deathbed. It is too late. Ali, he took a look too, and he started to cry. But he said, perhaps it's not too late. I have this healing apple. If we can get there fast enough, we can save her life. So they all got on the flying magic carpet and they took off. Now, Princess Noor, she was on her deathbed, but it wasn't for any reason that you might guess. She'd been fighting with the Sultan all year long because she wanted to marry who she wanted to marry. She knew who her best friend was, and she knew what her destiny was. And the Sultan, he kept saying, no, 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 it is not a woman's place to choose who you would marry. It is not a woman's place, and if I let you choose who you marry, what will that say of me? And he would not change. So the princess had lost her shine, and she had fallen to bed, and then she had become ill, and now she was on the brink of death. And the Sultan's heart was heavy, for he knew that he had done wrong, but he could not change. So the men, the brothers, they arrived on the flying magic carpet, and they went rushing to Princess Noor's chambers, and Ali brought the apple to Princess Noor, and she saw him, and her eyes created a spark, and the apple that he gave her exuded a fragrance that everyone could smell, and she breathed deeply. She sat up and she called for food, and she said, "I am quite well. I am quite well." And the whole kingdom celebrated that they had not lost their precious Noor. But the Sultan, he was still heavy of heart. He still had a decision to make. So he brought his sons to the throne room and he said, "Okay, tell me what you have brought back for a marriage with Princess Noor." Hussein, he said, "What, did you see my flying magic carpet? Isn't that the greatest thing? I can take this carpet and I can find out what other countries are doing and rob them of their secrets. I can follow the 40 thieves and figure out where their cave is, and we can hang them all, and Princess Noor and I will be rich." Okay. Ahmed? "Well, if I hadn't found the ivory spying tube, we wouldn't have ever known Princess Noor was sick, and she would be dead right now. I can use this ivory spying tube to spy out all the beautiful women in the land, and I will marry the most beautiful women, and Princess Noor will be my first wife, and we will all be happy." And Ali, what did you bring for a marriage with Princess Noor? And Ali said, "Oh, I don't know. I'm just so glad that she's alive. If she had died, I wouldn't have been able to live another day. But Father, I do have this apple. Would you like to smell its fragrance?" And he walked up to the Sultan and he held the apple out. And the Sultan, whose heart was still so heavy, smelled the fragrance, and he knew what to do. And he called to the servants and he said, "Bring us Princess Noor," who came immediately because she'd been hiding behind the door. And he said, "Princess Noor, which one of my sons would you like to marry?" And she went rushing to Prince Ali, and they embraced and embraced so long. The room began to brighten. There were no words, but they all knew her choice. And they were married the next day. Now the two other brothers, they were not very happy, but things worked out. One day, Hussein took his flying carpet to the mosque and he prayed with it and he became a holy man. And Ahmed, well, one day he got bored and he took his ivory spying tube and he asked it to show him his heart. And what he saw there eventually led him to his own true love. So there was peace amongst the land.